TV Kingship. I'm Tom Verotto along with Dave Neurath and Bo Hudy, and we're ready for game number 1. You're looking at Alan Runkel, 25-year-old division manager from First Investors Corporation. Recently moved in our area last August. His first ball on the TV King of Bowling and the southpaw with 10 in the pit, Dave.
Light mixer to start the match. Tom, I'm telling you, this guy is going to be on many, many times. It's tough to go out on a limb and pick somebody like that, but I'll tell you what, he does so many things right that it's only a matter of time before he appears on the show again next. Oh, great break for Bill. But Alan's going to be around for a long time. That shot, you saw Bill Heflin go high, right through the nose. Gets a great break out of the pit. Something knocks the 10-pin into the 6, and they both fall. He's got an easy spare.
That's the way to start it out. You were mentioning that we can expect Alan down the road many times. We've seen Bill Heflin quite a few times on this. As a matter of fact, this is the 3rd time this year we saw him back at LaRue Lanes.
Tom, I asked him after we did the open, I said it seems like hundreds. He said, we counted them up last night. It's 36 times.
36 times for Bill Heflin as he leaves the 7-pin in his 2nd frame here. Interesting, because every time he bowls, he always seems to give the people a show. It's fun to watch. 51-year-old.
He's a true competitor, been around for a lot of years, Bo. Not only does he bowl in the King tournaments, but he bowls in almost every tournament around the greater Cincinnati area. He's a good participant.
He definitely supports the tournament schedules here in Cincinnati.
Alan Runkel, Dave, as you were mentioning, you expect a lot out of this guy. You really don't know what he has. He moved to Cincinnati from Buffalo last August, and I guess it's good to get some fresh blood in with the usually good, talented bowlers around the Cincinnati area.
Look at that. It's fantastic. Alan's going to be ringing up some scores around greater Cincinnati, and boy, did he come to a bowling town. This town is a great bowling city, second to maybe only New York and Los Angeles. Of course, people from Chicago might argue, but I think it ranks right up there in the top 3. Alan Runkel came to a great bowling city, and he brings a good game with him. We can expect to see a lot of this man.
Brings a 206 average to the Queen City, and he's got 2 frames filled with strikes right now. Alan Runkel didn't get the break on that one.
You know, Alan, being from New York, they had a TV show up there, and this may not be his first time to appear on television, so he may be a little calmer than somebody who is making the show for the first time.
Well, if his first 3 frames are any indication of that, I'd say he is calm.
That's right.
That might be, Bo, but by George, we've got the better viewers here in Cincinnati.
We do have a great audience, and we love it when they're watching.
Mentioned we're at Loveland Lanes, and Bo, Loveland has a new owner.
That's correct. Just recently, Morris and Kim Richmond purchased Loveland Lanes, and of course the staff, we still have our reliable crew here. Wilbur Constable is the manager and does one heck of a job.
2nd straight frame, Bill Heflin leads the 7-pin.
The wiggling 7, soft 7, whatever way you want to phrase it, Tommy. The ball did not finish properly. He used an extremely hard shell ball, the nail that time, and it just didn't quite have the strong finish that he wanted to see on the back end. You can see Bill shot enough 7-pins in his career to shoot them comfortably.
So 3 1-pin spares for Bill Heflin.
Right now, Bill is trailing by 11 pins. Both players in the 3rd frame with a spare up. Can cut the deficit with a strike. That's the way to do it.
Right on the money. Heflin qualified at 739, and as Bo mentioned, it was one of the highest qualifying scores collectively this year.
Here you see it right here, the head pin, center of your screen, going to the right part of your screen, throwing the 5 after it comes through. It was going to leave the solid 10, Tom, but the head pin coming off the wall bumped the 5 into it and pushed it down. Bill has the strike working.
Bill has to be feeling pretty good, especially after that saving 9-pin in the 1st frame.
How many times do we see this, Bo? A player, I mean, people at home watch this. Last frame, what did Alan do? Went Brooklyn, right? What did he do this time?
He over-adjusted.
He goes wide. It is. It's predictable. You can almost count on it sometimes. If a player's making good shot after good shot and leaves a ringing 10 or something, you won't see it. But more often than not, you'll see an overcorrection on the following frame. Driving through and chopping that spare off. God, Lee, that was a bad break, Bo. That tightens the score up considerably.
Certainly does.
Of course, you can't give Bill Heflin any breaks because he'll jump on those faster. I shouldn't say jump. Bill's the type of guy who really doesn't move that quickly out there. He just methodically goes and knocks players off one by one.
Well, you know, he did that when he bowled against Greg Lothian over at LaRue. He just consistently shot, you know, his 245, 268, and 221 to knock Greg off.
And that dethroned Lothian after 4 straight weeks of winning the kingship. So after starting out with 2 strikes, Alan Runkel leaving some pins standing there as he leaves the 7.
Would you say Bill just kind of meanders up and walks around his opponent there?
The bottom line is he gets the job done. And that's all you need from a bowler like Bill Heflin. You just don't want to put the hammer in his hand.
Look out.
Boy, that was a tough break for
I tell you what, it didn't miss by the shortest of margins. Let's take a look at it here if we can. This ball is going to fall off into the train. Look at it, right there, right teetering, misses it by less than ½ an inch, Tom.
So we say, if you slice meat that thin, you'll starve, Dave.
That's right. Look out, crossing over.
Not happy with that one. He turned his back before the ball even reached the pit.
Well, Bo, you know this yourself. You know immediately when you throw a bad ball or when you throw a good one. A lot of times if I'm throwing the ball real well, I'll know when the ball leaves my hand if I'm going to hit my target and therefore hit the pocket. You know when you throw one that bad.
Well, let's go to wax on that pin.
That's for sure. It's a natural reflex to do that. You know, if you do throw a bad shot, you know by just the way you release the ball what's going to happen if you bowl a lot.
Now, what he's done at this point, Bill Heflin, with a strike here, would give him 98 in the 5th frame, and that would give him a 14-pin lead over his opponent.
Not just yet. He's not going to run away and hide in this game. Bo, we mentioned this is the last week for, I guess, qualifying for the kingship, and next week we finish it all off at Pin House.
Yeah, our qualifiers are basically over with. This is our first weekend. We did not have a qualifier. Next Saturday, though, all the people that you saw on TV this year, 31 men and 10 ladies, will be bowling at the Pin House, 11 a.m. And first place, by the way, is $1,800. $900 for second, $750 for third, and $500 for fourth.
There you see the score, 14 pins. Or 12 pins, I'm sorry, advantage, Bill Heflin.
That $1,800 first prize is up $300 from last year.
Yes, it is. Because of the great participation that we had from the bowlers this year, we had more prize money in the finals than anticipated. And what we do is we added to the prize list overall, and we were able to add $300.
Very good. Well, not for Alan Runkel.
That wasn't very good.
No, that's not going to help Alan Runkel out right now.
Alan Runkel's lost. Now watch the head pin, center of your screen. It's going to go just missing the 3-pin, which would normally take out that group of pins that you see right there. A light hit, not the drive-in ball that Alan would want to throw. He's going to try to convert this by hitting the 3-pin a little left of center. Not like that.
Boy,
that was a lot left of center.
Left of center is right.
Did you hear the ball tip the thumb hole? He might be squeezing it a little bit.
Could be. Could be. Bo, what you alluded to, maybe he's been on television before. Maybe he hasn't. Yeah. In any case, it's a new area for him. New people. I'm sure he wants to do well, and physically he has the game to do well. But I believe he is pressing just a wee bit.
Well, whether it's Runkel or Heflin, the winner of this match will go on to meet Ron Bonnert, who Bo had mentioned earlier, had qualified with the highest score this year at 772. Down the road a piece, Mark Walton, the king. Be interesting to see how Walton adjusts to these lanes. Last week he won on his strikes and spares lanes up in Deer Park, his home lanes. It'll be interesting, Dave, to see how he plays here today.
Well, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to that match, but right now Alan Runkel's having a wee bit of a problem getting into the pocket. He went light again. He leaves the 3-pin. I'm sure he'll cover this one, but he better get his lines together. That one ball that he crossed over and threw Brooklyn appears to have messed up his concentration and timing.
And as you mentioned, if Allen doesn't start to get something together, he's starting to run out of paper right now. Bill Heflin, off a spare. This is the 7th frame.
You take it, I don't want it.
Bill wanted that one back real fast as soon as he let it go.
There's a couple of good-looking faces, future bowlers. Who are those people?
I believe they are the newest members of the Heflin family, the twins that we're expecting back in 3-4 weeks ago at LaRue.
Left-handers, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Southpaws, he wouldn't have it any other way. So that's split by Bill Heflin. Kind of puts Alan Runkel back in the thick of things.
He could get it right back in the game should Allen strike in the 8th frame. It would give him 112. That would leave him 7 pins behind Bill Heflin, but with a strike working would give him the potential to run around him. Bill Heflin not striking in the 9th frame, leaving a weak 7.
You know, we have a standby here today who rolled a 300 game. We will have a presentation of a 300 ring to Steve Bruck. He bowled here last week and ended up being our standby with a 7-12 series.
As Heflin takes out the 7, that's kind of tough to bowl a 300 game and not be good enough. I guess it pretty much is indicative of the talent that we have when you do bowl a 300 game and you can't get on the show.
You have a lot of bowlers competing for the 3 spots, you know, for the TV show, and they bowl over and over, you know, if they have opportunity to, and it's just basically who is carrying and who's throwing the ball well.
Last week we spoke, our average was 208 coming in, Bo.
It's, again, 208. We stayed at a steady pace, which was, you know, contributed to the games that were rolled last week.
What a critical frame. 8th frame, a place where Alan Runkel can build on and go. Now watch this. Solid 7. 2nd pin from the left-hand side of your screen. Around and down, ticking it as it goes. The crash 7. Critical place. Alan Runkel threw a great shot. He does not get the reward. He is still 8 pins down with a spare.
8th frame for Runkel, the transplant from Buffalo, New York. This time he takes out that elusive 7-pin.
7-pin, 8-pin advantage going into the 9th frame for Bill Heflin. Alan Runkel, if he wants a chance to win this game, really could use a strike here in the 9th, the building frame.
Interesting to see these two men. You know, you think about how many sports a man, as you take a look at the score, Heflin, an 8-pin leader. How many sports can a man who is half the age of his opponent compete head-to-head? I use the word compete, competitively.
That's right. That's right. Bowling's it, Tom. Bowling's the only game in the world where the whole family can go out and, like you say, compete on even levels, ages, sizes. But the only thing that plays the difference is attitudes. It's about the only thing that makes a difference in bowling. Alan Runkel striking the 9th frame. Bill Heflin has to get working here, and we have a ball game.
You know, you were speaking of ages before. Did you notice on the women's, the BPAA U.S. Open, an 18-year-old young lady won it over, she's an amateur, over the pros.
Fantastic.
18 years old.
Start them young. The younger, the better, right, Dave? I know your son rolls things that rolls bowling balls around the house.
That's what I'm laughing about. I was getting ready to come out to the show today, and I'm walking down the hallway tying my tie as I normally do, and I tripped over one of my bowling balls that somehow found its way out of my bag and into the hallway.
You sure you just didn't leave it there, Dave?
Not David.
No way.
Bill Heflin, 10th frame. Oh, something we haven't seen from Hef since the 4th frame.
Let's set up the 10th frame, Tommy. This is the way it is. With one more strike, Bill Heflin could finish his match in the 180 category. If he strikes out 187, Alan Runkel would then have to throw the first 2 strikes in the 10th. Bill Heflin with this strike will force Alan Runkel to throw 2. Let's watch.
Critical ball for Heflin. Oh boy.
It's not over. The split really doesn't mean a lot, Tom, because the count is of no real significance at this point. Bill will have to get the 2, finish up with a 176 in all probability. Alan Runkel will have to throw the first ball in the 10th frame. First strike.
So Heflin, which is not a real custom of his to bowl under 200. He has been keeping a 200-plus average for most of his 18 years of bowling. 176.
It's very easy to figure out. Alan Runkel's been around. He knows the game. He knows how to keep score. He knows he needs this strike to have any chance of winning. Threw a great shot, Tom. A little high, but a great shot.
That's what the great bowlers do. When they need the strikes, they reach back and get them.
I mean, this is it. There's no more tomorrow without this shot. So what's he do? He throws a great shot. A head pin goes straight back. Puts the 3-pin to the wall. 3-pin taking out the 6 off the wall. Great, great shot. Right now, without throwing a ball, he's got 151 in the 9th frame. With an 8 count, would give him 159. Spare out 179. 8 would be the number, and then he can miss. But a strike's even better.
So, Alan Runkel, after some turbulent times in game number 1, is going to beat Bill Heflin and then go on to meet Ron Bonnert, and that should be quite a match. Bonnert also a southpaw and even younger than Alan Runkel at 21 years old. This just to put the finishing touches on for Alan Runkel. His first time on the Hudy TV bowling. So there's your winner for game number 1, Alan Runkel. He will go on to game number 2 to meet Ron Bonnert. As you see the form of Alan Runkel, a 188 to 176 winner in game 1. When we come back, game number 2 and Ron Bonnert.